All right, tonight on the program, one of Nigeria's most outspoken political activists and democracy campaigners joins us for a frank conversation tonight on the rapidly shifting political landscape ahead of the 2027 general elections, from the growing opposition coalition talks involving the NDC, ADC, and other political blocs, to the controversies surrounding INEC's election timetable and the deepening debate over electoral credibility. Our guest tonight on the program, Aisha Yesufu, weighs in on whether the opposition truly has the structure, unity, and strategy to challenge President Tinubu and the APC in the 2027 election. Ms. Aisha Yesufu, a pleasure having you join us tonight on the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. How is preparation for Senate going?
It's going on. I mean, grassroots. Yesterday, I was in 3 area councils, Abaji, Kwali, and Gwagwalada, and today I spent literally more than half of the day in Buhari. And it's really interesting. And you find out that, because I was just watching what was playing on, you know, while you were speaking and what the shows you were, that were going on the TV. And like people, the reality of citizens at the grassroots is far removed from what we have out here. But it's going on and it's interesting.
So you've started campaigning already?
Well, I've started consultation, meeting with residents of Abuja, our party members, party leadership, ahead of the primaries that is going to take place between 27th and 29th. And so for me, it's very important, you know, going down and letting them know of my vision. Like earlier today and yesterday, one of the things I did tell them was the fact that looking at FCT Abuja and the fact that in terms of population, it's more than about 10 states. And if you're talking about land size, it's more than about, you know, 8 states. We should have more than 1 senator. We should be talking about 3 senators like other states, and at least, you know, 7 House of representative members. In that way, there's more representation for the people. The Abuja population has grown tremendously, you know, over the time. It's almost, you know, there's an internal Japa and an external Japa. The internal Japa people are going to places like Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, and all of that. And also sharing with them some of the bills that I think that I'm going to be putting forward. If I get the if and when, by the grace of God, I get the party ticket, the Nigeria Democratic Congress, and also if at the end of the day, the people of Abuja decide they would give me their mandate for me to represent them and be a voice. So it's been really, really interesting.
You've obtained the form, NDC form?
Yeah, I've obtained the expression of interest form. I was screened yesterday. It took, I think, literally about 3 or 4 days before I got screened. I was going there every day. But one of the things for me, you know, like when you're stressed, right? Because there were a lot of people. But you're stressed, but it's a good stress in the way that I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a party that literally we had moved into less than a month, and look at the volume of people that have, the number of people that have gone in there, and so many aspirants that are there. So we are not in a situation whereby we are begging people to come and collect form, the NDC begging people to come and collect form, or not having aspirants, but literally, you know, overwhelmed with so many aspirants. That shows the belief that Nigerians and a lot of people have in the Nigeria Democratic Congress.
So, you've been screened, but have you submitted your forms now?
No, I haven't submitted. So we've been screened. So we're waiting to see whether we are cleared or not. Then after that clearing, we then go on to obtain the nomination form. It's after the nomination form, then we now have the primaries. If there's going to be primaries or if there's going to be consensus.
How many people are running against you in the NDC?
The one I know, I think we are like about 4, but I'm still not sure, because at the end of the day, it now depends on how many people have collected the expression of interest, you know, and how many people at the end of the day are cleared, you know, to go on and buy the nomination form. So it's when everything is on that you now know specifically, because sometimes people show interest, but when it then comes to picking up the form, they don't get to do that. Yeah,
it's going to be very interesting if you pick the ticket of the NDC, because you are going to be up against the likes of Senatorial Kingibe. If she gets a ticket of the ADC, you are probably going to be up against the likes of Senator Philip Aduda, who is an institution man in the politics of the of FCTA. That's going to be a very strong battle. Are you ready? Are you battle ready?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be, by the grace of God, like a breath of fresh air, different from the norm that we have seen before. And like I've always maintained, I'm not leaving advocacy, I'm taking advocacy into politics. I mean, it is time for us to now begin to do business unusual. We've spent so much time doing business as usual. And you know what they say about insanity? That's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So this time is to say, look, I'm looking at having a people-centric, kind of leadership. Like when I go around, and one of the things I tell them, if by the grace of God, when we're done with the primaries, one of the things I would love to see, if and when I emerge by the grace of God as the flag bearer of my party, the Nigeria Democratic Congress, is to go to every ward. Going into every ward is to sit down and just listen to every word, tell me what the problems are. We're going to align the problems, write out the problems, and when we do that, we're going to have a social contract that we are all signing. What are the first 10 problems that you will need solved? What are those things? And we put them together, sign them, print them, laminate them, and keep. And as we go on, these are the things that will be ticked. I'm not going to do the normal, politics where we come and just say sweet words and all of that. And at the end of the day, you have nothing to hold someone accountable to. I want to be held accountable to things. And especially today, and what I've repeatedly said is a father, I just don't want to come and just be in office. I literally want to make a difference. I want a situation whereby wherever office that I occupy, at any time when Nigerians give me that opportunity to do that, especially the Abuja residents, is to say 100 years from today, let those who will be Nigerians look back and say, because an Aisha Yesufu occupied such and such office more than 100 years ago, Nigeria was a better place. For me, I'm really big on legacy.
Can Aisha Yesufu, as she has said in the video, be a breath of fresh air truly? We know that Aisha Yesufu, who has resigned from the African Democratic Congress and joined the Nigeria Democratic Congress (NDC), declaring her intention to contest the FCT senatorial seat in the 2027 general elections. She framed her candidacy as a transition from using her constitutional voice to make demands to seeking constitutional authority to represent the people. A declaration on Channels TV with Seun Okinbaloye fits squarely within this framing, positioning herself not as a politician seeking power, but as a citizen activist, formalizing her advocacy through elected office. When Aisha Yesufu said she will be a breath of fresh air from the norm, what does she mean? When Yesufu says she will be different from the norm, she's implicitly making several promises. Number one, she's saying she will not be transactional, no stomach infrastructure politics, no constituency capture through patronage. Number two, she's saying that she will be accountable to the people, not party godfathers. Number three, she's saying that she will legislate, not just occupy a seat. And number four, she's saying she will speak truth to power, even from within power. Can she truly be a breath of fresh air? Now, there's argument for her authenticity. She has a proven track record of sacrifice. Yesufu has never been a job seeker in politics. She was at the forefront of NSAS in 2020, standing in defiance when others fled. That image of a woman standing firm while others ran is not manufactured. It is documented history. She is ideologically consistent. She linked her political moves to her continued support for Peter Obi's vision, describing it as following through on a promise, and noted, "When I give my word, I keep it." Her defections have been principled, not opportunistic in the traditional Nigerian sense. She is already thinking legislatively, not just symbolically. She has argued that the FCT should have 3 senators and at least 6 members of the House of Representatives, pointing out that Abuja is more populous than 10 states and larger in land area than 8 states. This shows she's already doing the intellectual work of a legislator. She has also stressed that her political ambition would not replace her advocacy work, but would serve as another platform to push for reforms and improved representation for residents. There's also argument against, you know, she has switched parties multiple times. She moved to ADC following Peter Obi, then moved again to NDC following Peter Obi. She explained that her decision was driven by a deeper understanding of the country's future and her continued alignment with Peter Obi's political direction. While principled in its reasoning, this raises a serious question. Is she an independent voice, or is she politically tethered to one man? A senator whose compass always points to Peter Obi may not always point to the FCT constituent she claims to represent. She's entering a deeply corrupting institution. That's another point. The Nigerian Senate is not merely a legislative body, it is a patronage ecosystem with a long history of swallowing reformers. People who entered with clean hands have left with dirty ones. Another point is the NDC is a new and untested platform. A move to the NDC comes days after former governors Rabiu Kwankwaso and Peter Obi adopted the NDC as the platform for their 2027 presidential campaign. This means a political vehicle is being assembled around a presidential ambition, and senatorial candidates in such arrangements can easily become instruments of that ambition rather than independent representatives. Will the Senate corrupt our activism? The Senate can corrupt in 3 specific ways. Number one, financial seduction. Nigerian senators earn some of the highest legislative salaries in the world relative to their country's GDP. The lifestyle of the Nigerian Senate, the allowances, the difference, the protocol is psychologically transformative. A very few people remain unchanged by it. Number two, institutional conformity. The Senate has its own culture of silence, deal making, and mutual protection. Independent voices are marginalized through procedural means. A senator who speaks too loudly against the Senate is isolated from committees, funding, and political alliances. 3. Constituency politics versus national activism. As an activist, Yesufu speaks for everyone. As an FCT senator, she will be constitutionally obligated to speak first for FCT residents, and FCT residents will expect constituency projects, interventions, and direct patronage. This is the tension between the activist who challenges systems and the politician who must deliver within them. However, there is a counter argument. Yesufu is not a young person discovering politics. She enters the Senate with a pre existing identity, a social media army, and an intentional profile, and a history that would make betrayal extraordinarily costly to her brand. The leverage of public reputation can be a shield against institutional corruption, and she has more of it than virtually any other person entering Nigerian politics today. Aisha Yesufu can be a breath of fresh air, but only if she remains structurally independent from Peter Obi's presidential project and resists the Senate's culture of comfortable silence. The risk is not that she will suddenly become corrupt in the crude sense. The deeper risk is subtle. The deeper risk is subtle institutional capture, where she remains personally clean but legislatively muted. Her activism gradually replaced by protocols, press releases, and party loyalty. The phrase breath of fresh air is easy to say. History will judge her by whether she is willing to breathe that fresh air, even when the Senate and her own party is choking on its own stale air. That will be the real test. Thank you for listening. Put down your comments below, subscribe, and share. What do you think about Aisha Yesufu's move and all that she has said? Thank you.